What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today, continuing the theme of 2025, I'm going to be updating another one of my favourite decks. This time it is going to be Thunder Dragons. Now this is Thunder Chaos, it's pretty much the version that I prefer to play because it gives you that balance of being able to banish your cards, being able to set up your cards in the graveyard, and it just gives you that ability to do one or the other. Especially when Artifact Lancer is running around, it gives you that ability to kind of shift your strategy using your side deck as well, which can really help you. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe if you haven't already to make sure you do not miss out on any more upcoming content for 2025. I'm just going to dive headfirst into the profile, show you what we've got, explain why we've got it, to give you as much information as possible. So we're going to be starting off with triple of the OG Thunder Dragon. Now the reason you're going to be maxing out on this card is for the pure fact that this one is specifically required to fusion summon, hard fusion summon, the Thunder Dragon Colossus, because this one requires Thunder Dragon plus Thunder Dragon, not Thunder Dragon Monster, plus a Thunder Dragon Monster, so a Thunder Monster. So it does need specifically Thunder Dragon. Now you should be cheating out Thunder Dragon Colossus more times than not, but there are those odd scenarios where you might actually want to activate, whether it may be Thunder Dragon Fusion. Now that isn't just the main reason that you play free of this guy. The other reason is that you can also cheat out Thunder Dragon Colossus if you have activated a Thunder Monster's effect in the hand this turn, which is exactly what Thunder Dragon does. On top of that as well, it allows you to discard itself to either search out another copy, and then you discard another copy to search out another one, putting 2 lights in your graveyard, setting up your Chaos plays as well. This card is so integral with this entire deck strategy, it's insane, which is why you have that ability to also trigger off your Thunder Dragon Titans effect if you are going second, twice. So it just gives you so much more to play around with. It's absolutely insane. Then we back this up with triple Thunder Dragon Roar. Now this, in my opinion, is the best one to be banished or even sent to the graveyard. So you get to discard this card to add to your hand one of your Thunder Dragon cards that is banished or in your graveyard except itself. And if this card itself is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to special on a Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense. You return it to the hand during the end phase. Sometimes that's relevant because what you want to summon is your Thunder Dragon Dark, and then returning this to the hand also lets you set up your Titan play because it is a quick effect to discard. So Thunder Dragon Dark, quick effect, discard this card to add a Thunder Dragon Dark from the deck to the hand. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a Thunder Dragon card specifically from your deck to the hand, so it does allow you to search out your Thunder Dragon Fusion, which is why that can come up and be quite relevant for you. Now, keep in mind that all of the Thunder Dragon monsters except the OG Thunder Dragon, you can only use one of the effects per turn, so you can only use the discard or the banish. Then we also play 2 Thunder Dragon Matrix. I'm not completely set on playing this at 2, but what I do like the idea about is if I do use this as banish fodder, I get to reclaim my hand advantage. And on top of that, this one has a quick effect quite like Thunder Dragon Dark. There's a quick effect, discard this card to target a Thunder Dragon monster you control, and it gains 500 attack. The reason that is so important is because that's how you're going to constantly be able to trigger your Thunder Dragon Titan during your opponent's turn, as this one has a when effect. When a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand, you get to target a card on the field. I don't even think it targets anymore. Except during the state, you get to non-target destroy a card on the field. The issue is it's a when effect, so if you go Chain Link 1 Matrix and your opponent does Chain Link 2 something else, your Titan will miss timing. Really annoyingly. Its other effect is if it's banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you add a second copy of itself. So it pretty much has the same, it has the banish effect that Dark has of the discard effect. And last one we're playing is Thunder Dragon Hawk. Now you can play this at more if you want to, but Hawk is kind of one of them combo enders, and what I mean by that is Hawk is one of the ones that you want to be doing a lot more towards the end of your turn, for the pure fact that this one, you discard it to special on one of your Thunder Dragon monsters that is banished or in the graveyard except itself. So that's going to be one of the ones that right at the end of the turn you go Thunder Dragon Hawk, once you've already set up your banish or anything, bring a Thunder Dragon back to the board, and then turn that into a Colossus. Its banish effect, or sent from field to the graveyard, lets you reset your hand. So you shuffle any number of monsters from your hand into the deck, and then you draw the same number of cards. So it is a bit of a nice refresh, but honestly you shouldn't be relying on that too much, which is why you're very easily capable to play it at 1. For our normal summons of the deck, we're still going with triple Batteryman Solar. Now, honestly, you could just focus on just Batteryman Solar and not play the other normal summon of the deck, which I'll talk about in a second. But the idea behind Batteryman Solar is this is the one that will set up your Chaos plays. So on normal or special, you send a Thunder monster from the deck to the graveyard. And if a Thunder monster is normal or special, while this monster is on the field, you special summon out a Thunder token. And the best thing about that is you can turn your token into a Colossus. Even more additional synergy. You can also target a Batteryman effect monster you control or in your graveyard. This card name becomes that monster's effect until the end of the turn. So obviously if you're playing a pure Batteryman, you get a bit more. The other normal summon that I do choose to play is the Aloof Lupine. I just like the option of playing one or the other, because with Batteryman Solar, it's a lot easier to stop. Like, this one can get hit by Ash, Imperms, Veilers, whereas Aloof Lupine is a little bit different. So when this card is specifically normal summoned, you get to banish one monster from your hand, and then as cost, so it will always make sure you trigger off a Thunder Dragon Dark or a Thunder Dragon Roar. And then you get to banish a monster from the deck with the same type as that monster. So the idea is that if this resolves, and it can still get hit with Imperms and Veilers, but it means you just don't send the second one from the deck to the banish zone, you'll still banish from the hand as cost. So if this does get hit with an Imperm or a Veiler, it still means that the Dark or the Roar that you've banished will still trigger to get you that additional monster on the board. So it gives you a little bit more synergy if you want it to, but like I've said, you can very easily cut this out completely and not bother. The benefit is it's dark and light, so you've got the benefit of both. This is your one you want to be your ideal normal summon, because it only triggers on normal summon, whereas Batteryman Solar is normal or special. So if you do play Skull Dread Saruja in your extra deck, you can actually go for Batteryman Solar on your second summon rather than on your first summon. It's entirely up to you. You can cut this out completely if you want to. I personally quite like it. And then we're playing a very small Nemesis package. So obviously the idea is you've got Nemesis, Flag and Corridor, which means you do have the flexibility to side deck in Eschatos or Protoss if you want to. But the idea is that you can get into Flag through Banshee, the Infernal Flame Banshee, and this will then allow you to summon down Nemesis Flag by putting back one of your banished materials that you might not need, or you kind of want to recycle it, like one of your Chaos monsters. And then on top of that, you then search out Corridor. Corridor will put back another one, and Corridor's effect in the hand is a Thunder Monster's effect activating. So once you put Corridor down to the board, you just tribute that off straight into a Colossus, and happy days. You're pretty much ending your board on double Colossus, or if you wanted to, you could play triple Colossus. It really is up to you. Then the final card that I play that is like I would say a normal summon monster, but also an extended monster as well, is the Mental Tuner. Now I'm playing this with 2 Emergency Teleport. This is completely up to you. This is what I've been using in more of my modern builds for Thunder Dragon Chaos, just because I love all of its effects and what it does. So this one, you get to activate one of these effects. You banish up to 1 light and 1 dark from your hand or graveyard to increase this card's level or decrease it by the exact number banished until the end of the turn. Alternatively, you can target 2 of your banished monsters, 1 light and 1 dark, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, increase or decrease this levels by the exact number returned until the end of the turn. So what this unlocks to you is this unlocks recurability by being able to put back some of your banished monsters. It also unlocks extension by being able to banish some of your monsters from the hand. And on top of that, it's also an extender because it can come off the back of E-Tele, which means you don't need to normal summon it. It also unlocks you the ability to play some synchro cards, which I really do quite like in the Chaos strategy, because this will then unlock the ability, and again, previewing all of the extra deck monsters just to kind of give you a bit of an idea, is it lets you play Bestial Dispatter. Preview, we are playing the Bestials. It can also let you get access to the Chaos Archfiend, and it can also let you get access to the Chaos Angel. Now, whether you're going to be using cards off of the back of that, because all of these cards mainly need so this one just needs a non-tuner Dragon Monster, which is the Bestials. This one just needs a light tuner, which is obviously what Metal Tuner is. And then your Chaos Angel can use lights or darks as tuners, so it is generic. But the idea is you can actually just hard make it off the back of Metal Tuner if you wanted to. Speaking of the Bestials, we are playing a Bestial engine in the form of 1 Magnemute, 2 Druid Swarm, and 1 Lubellion. Now the reason we're only playing 1 Lubellion is you can actually search Lubellion off of Preview Chaos Space, because it is a monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on once we get through the Chaos monsters. We're also playing the 1 branded Regain. We've got a lot of recursion through our banish zone. And what I mean by that is it means you don't need to really be so conservative with your banish cards. You can banish quite a lot, don't really mind, Regain will put them back for you anyway. It's also quite effective in the matchup against Malice, is that when they're banishing their cards, you can just go, okay, cool, Regained, put it back, so that it can't summon itself back out. It can really cause them a lot of issues, especially if they're banishing as cost with something like Haggard Lizard Dose, which does kind of give you some niche interactions. It's a card you can cut out completely. You could take out the Bestial engine completely if you wanted to, but I quite like the idea of these acting as technical hand traps, recurability, draw consistency, and then just insanely powerful boss monsters on all of their own right. You could play more Lubellion if you wanted to, but you kind of want to banish the Chaos cards you are playing. Speaking of the Chaos cards, so I'll talk about Chaos Form right now. So this one lets you send a light or a dark monster from your hand to the graveyard to then add a light or a dark monster of the opposite attribute of what you discarded to the hand that cannot be normal summoned or set from a level between 4 and 8. From 4 or 8. You also have the ability to banish this card from the graveyard to target one of your banished light or dark monsters that can't be normal summoned or set, put it on the back of the bottom of the deck and then draw 1 card. It's the reason this card is at 1 is because it's insanely powerful. So the Chaos monsters we are playing is the 1 Black Collapse and White Wyvern, both at 1. 1 Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, Chaos Creator, and then Chaos Emperor. Now obviously you've got your Recurrer, because this will allow you to special summon back. You target 3 of your banished monsters with different names, summon one of them and put the rest on the bottom of the deck. Chaos Legionnaire is the ability to either rip 1 card from your opponent's hand, non-target destroy 2 cards on the field, or you can revive one of your cards. So it depends on what you're banishing. You're playing lights and darks, it should be very easy to resolve. And then your Chaos Emperor Armageddon is a way to be able to use its pendulum effect if you want to, but also has the ability to pretty much nuke your opponent's board. So it is your aggressor for going second. It's one of the ones you could side out if you wanted to, but I kind of felt that I didn't really have an issue of playing one of this, because it was like, if I didn't win the dice roll and I get to go second, I've got this as an option for me. And then we're playing 1 Ready Fusion and 1 Instant Fusion. So the 2 targets for both of these, obviously the first one you're going to want to go for will be your Kaminari attack. And the reason for this one is you can tribute this off and banish a Thunder Dragon or a Thunder monster from the hand to cheat out your Thunder Dragon Titan. So it does become quite relevant right now, purely because we now have 3 Colossus. It's not really the end of the world to be relying on it so heavily, but again, that's entirely optional. Another one we play is Mud Dragon, and the reason for this is you can instant fusion it out. You can't ready fusion it out, but you can instant or ready out the Kaminari attack. And the other is it just gives you another target you summon out. You can use this effect to turn it to light or dark, so it means your monsters can't be targeted. And then you can also use it as overlay material in order to get you into your Banshee, which will lead you into your Nemesis Flag, which leads you into Corridor, and so on and so forth. It's an entirely optional package. You can take it out if you want to. It really just comes down to personal preference. I quite like it. It has a bit of a nostalgia feel for me, because back in the day when we did play Thunder Dragons, where they were at full power, Kaminari attack was just such an incredible bridge card. It was absolutely insane to give you more access to your Titan. And then the last cards we are playing are just like one-off power play spells. So we've got Reasoning. I personally quite like this, because the way that I see it in all of the decks I use it in is it either acts as an additional Foolish Burial when Foolish Burial is at 1, so being able to play 2 of it technically works. And it also acts as an extender when I'm playing so many different levels. Yes, of course, my Chaos monsters can't be normal summoned or set, but I also have other cards that are just level 4s, level 1s, level 5s, level 6s that can just keep acting as an extender to the board that can really, really help. 1 Thunder Dragon Fusion, you get to recycle this very easily. 1 Gold Sark, obviously banish any of your Thunder Dragon monsters, get an extension off the back of that. Foolish Burial, and then 2 Allure of Darknesses. I'm not 100% set on Allure of Darknesses yet, you can swap them out. It's kind of one of the ones that Aloof Lupine does the same job as Allure of Darkness, it just doesn't play into draw as heavily. But you could, if you wanted to, consider Dimension Shifter, but for me, that's more of a side deck card. You'll put that in and then take your Chaos cards out, just because Shifter is the only one you're putting in the graveyard, so it means you're only going to be able to Chaos Summon once that turn, and it really comes down to what you're trying to do. It can work out quite nicely with D-Shifter though, but you will need a very specific combo, and what I mean by that is you can activate D-Shifter, and then you can go like E-Telly into Metal Tuner. Metal Tuner can then banish, you'd go Bestial to banish the Chaos, the Dimension Shifter, and then you can go the Metal Tuner to put it back into the graveyard, so you're constantly re-looping back your Chaos fodder while you're under D-Shifter and while your opponent's under D-Shifter. So it does kind of give you a different option to play around with if you want to, but that's kind of like a very, very niche tech, which is why I'm not maining D-Shifter. And I also feel D-Shifter is more of a side deck card right now with this format, just because Malice running around, and Tempire is still there, whether they're as effective as they once were or as highly competitive as they once were pre-ban list, I don't know, to be completely honest. I don't think they are, but I've yet to actually face them at a proper tournament. Moving on to the extra deck, so we'll go off the Synchro monsters first. You've got your Chaos Angel, your Bestial Dispatter, and of course your Chaos Archfiend. Now remember, with the Mental Tuner, you get to adapt its level. So if you make it a level 4, you can then use it with any of your Bestial level 6s to get you into Dispatter. Dispatter again gives you recyclability. It also gives you the ability to disrupt any of the cards your opponent wants to be banishing, because you just put them back and then you get to negate or destroy. Chaos Angel is just what Chaos Angel is. And then Chaos Archfiend, I personally just quite like this, but again, it's a flexible card that you can take out. So if any card has been banished this turn, which 99.999% of the turn is going to happen, this card gains 2,000 attack. It gets to attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and also banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. If this card is its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you get to special summon a Chaos Synchro monster from your extra deck, except itself, so it can cheat out the Chaos Angel. For the XYZ, we're only playing 1 of it, and that's just the Infernal Flame Banshee. The idea is that you get to overlay 2 level 4s, get your Nemesis Flag, and then obviously Nemesis Flag can summon itself down. You can use this as banish fodder, but then that starts going into your Eschatos and your Protoss, so it really is up to you on that one. Then for the Link monsters, before we move on to the fusions, pretty standard on this one. We've got the 1 Relinquish Animar to turn your Thunder Dragon Matrix into. Very rare, but sometimes it does come up. We've got your IP into SP, pretty standard. And then we're playing 2 Charmers in the form of the Dark and the Liner. Now, the liner's pretty much one of these ones that, yeah, okay, you'll face some light matchups, but it's more so that if your opponent lanciers you, so if you're in a Malice matchup and they lancer you, because technically it's quite effective against you, you go, okay, cool, make liner steal the lancer, so that when they go back to their turn, you just lancer them back. So you basically get to use their own lancer against them, which I think is pretty funny. But you can flex this out for whatever you want. For the fusion monsters, of course, we've already talked about the instant fusion targets in the form of Kaminari Attack and then Mud Dragon. And then for the Thunder Dragon monsters, we are playing 2 Colossus. I honestly don't feel that 3 is necessary. If you're playing a pure version, you can very easily play 3, but you can actually recycle this very easily, like I've shown you with the Thunder Dragon Fusion, because you can put this back into the deck in order to get you into your Titan, as this just requires Thunder Dragon monsters. Again, the Thunder Dragon Fusion isn't your prime way to get into these. You're probably going to cheat them out more times than not. Obviously, Colossus by tributing a Thunder monster once a Thunder monster's effect's been activated in the hand. And then Titan by tributing by banishing a Thunder monster from your hand and 1 Thunder Fusion monster you control. So you can banish a Colossus, Thunder Dragon Fusion, put it back, get a second Titan. Really is up to you. You've got loads of different options. You can play 3 Titans. I think playing 3 Titans would be something you're more commonly going to do than playing 3 Colossuses, but you do have that option to flex it around should you wish. So that's it for the entire main deck. I'm not going to show you a dedicated extra deck, so to speak, because the idea is your extra deck will adapt depending on your local environment. The cards you'd want to be looking for this particular deck right now would be stuff like Artifact Lancer for the specific matchups you're going to face, then a form of back row hate, a form of board negation, whether it be Dark Rule and No More or Forbidden Droplet. Then you can also utilize a specific hand trap in the form of Nibiru or Dimension Shifter, depending on the environment you're at. And then you can start looking at more control cards. You could consider Triple Tactics Thrust. You can also consider Artifact Sanctum alongside Dimensional Barrier, just to kind of give you that ability to lock your opponent down, control them out as you need to. And you kind of want to balance your go first and go second cards, depending on what you have access to and what you're facing on a consistent basis. So that is it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will always be more than happy to answer them where at all possible. For now, as absolutely always, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.